Hello guys, and welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here in a while, or if you are subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing, and I will try to keep it coming. There's so much that has happened in 3D in the last 6 months. It's really hard to keep up with the browseware changes, with the Clo 3D changes, and with the Style3D changes. So one of those changes we're going to talk about right now, and that is auto knotting. Now, I've been calling it auto tie for the longest time because it is kind of tying, but it's really all about the knot. Okay, it's all about the knot. So they have different varieties of knots, which we're going to see and perhaps talk about for a quick second. But I'm going to try to keep it going with all these changes. There's enough content to go around for everybody. And if you like my content, if you like my banter, and okay, yes, some people complain I talk too much, but if you know me in real life, I really don't. So this is all personality. No, I'm really like this in real life. Anyway, so, I've been busy. The more you learn and do 3D, the more things come into your world, whether it be work. I currently have a training job for Clo 3D right now that's keeping me very busy, and I also am a full-time 3D design manager for a wonderful global company, which I won't say, but it does keep me in the screen a lot. So as much as I can give you guys on all of these new features, I will be giving it to you. And I look forward to hearing what you guys want to hear and participate in and learn all of these different things. I'm going to bring the live back probably next month, the month of August. So this actually starts the content that we're going to go through all of the different softwares and all of their different things. I've been on the AI roadmap for a little while. We're going to have that sprinkled in, sprinkle the AI, because we can't get away from it. Everybody's doing something regarding AI and it's supposed to help us, right? Not take over the world. Okay. So, but what I want to do is I want to go through this auto knotting feature. This is like one of the things that we've all been waiting for someone to do it, right? Because it can be done. So now we can see that it can be done. But there's a little bit of a caveat to these steps. And you know me, I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? Because if I struggle with it, I'm not going to make it look all pretty, for the video. You guys really need to know how to use the tools if you're going to use them. And is this usable? Hell yeah. So if you don't like me saying hell yeah, heck yeah, okay? So just bleep out that other part. But this is it. So let's jump into the content. But before that, I will say like and subscribe, because there's going to be a lot of different things coming up as far as how to use these brand new tools that are released by Browseware, Clo, and Style3D. So like I said, enough content to go around, and I hope you like my realism and my funny banter, and let's jump in. All right. So yeah, I tried it, and did I like it? Like I said, yes, I did. So one of the things that I just made this little outfit really quick to go ahead and try out. I felt the belt was a little bit long, so here I am just trying to resize it. I like a tight tie. So in my exploration, I was trying to get this belt tighter and tighter and tighter, but without tying it, because in my mind, it's a tie, not a knot. So this is where I made the mistake. This is all about knotting. So in essence, I should have tied the tie to where I wanted it to be, as far as getting it in position and getting it to be the correct tightness and everything that I wanted to have and see initially. So this is my first time using the tool. I think I watched the release of the 9.0, which this is version 9.0. I watched that release and I noticed that how they did it and everything, and then it gives you explicit instructions, and that's all well and good, but nothing like actually doing it to kind of understand your workflow and kind of understand like what could get in the way. So this is my first time. Go ahead and press OK on the knot. and then you have to hit simulate, and the knot will actually simulate. And there it is. There's the knot. So while I'm looking at this, I'm noticing my wrap is not wrapped the way that I wanted it to be, and the tie is not tight as I wanted it to be, because I really thought this thing was going to tie like a cinched tie and make a knot. But that's not what it does. It takes your two ends that you highlight and it actually makes a knot. So I'm going to put up an image here of all the different types of knots, and we'll take a look at that real quick. So this is where the auto knotting can be found on the home menu, and it's right up there with fold arrangement and your garment fold. So these are the knots, the types of knots that they have. It's a tie, like an actual tie that you wear, menswear type of tie. Bow ties, this twist tie knot, and it has them in single and double knotted. So you can go ahead and kind of change it up a little bit, whether you want single knot or double knot. And they give you these little guides here so that you can see and adjust, which I haven't gotten into, all of the little tie pieces, meaning you can actually adjust them to be 100% or 50% and see what kind of results you get from that. So this is the whole interface of the auto knotting tool. Okay, so this is where I digress, I guess. I go off into my ADHD world of this is not looking the way that I want it to look. It's as simple as that. Arrange, select, hit OK, hit simulate, and you've got a knot. But I tend to I tend to making things difficult is my game. So what do you say? What's the word? I can't remember, but I tend to overdo it a bit when it comes to trying to get to the vision that I wanted to get. So I'm saying that to say, like, you can play around with it. I suggest, just like me, I just made this little outfit just to test out the feature, right? Little pair of pants, like a sleeveless kimono type of garment that I'm going to use this specific knot on. So my idea was to get it a little bit tighter. I'm going to take it and I'm going to actually sew part of the knot into the side seam. So before I really get into exactly what this tool is supposed to be about, it's not really so much tying, although after looking at the interface, some of the things that you might want to adjust with the different tie structures, because it's broken up into structure. So some of the things that you might want to test out are some of the things that I could have been thinking about at the time of doing this. But I said, okay, I'm just going to do it the easy way. I'm going to make it so that the back is cinched, and I'm going to make this tie, just one of my little things that I do is like, okay, I'm going to make it cinched in the back with the tie being sewn into the side seam. So yes, that's one way of going ahead and doing your tie and then simulating it and see what you get or how much tightness you get in the back, and then you can make adjustments. But really the tie is going on in the front. So, in my journey here, I start to realize that no matter what you do, when you hit simulate, it will continue to simulate. So this really is a step that you need to do when you are done. This is like the last of the last, right? That you do before you're ready to simulate, or before you're ready to go ahead and maybe just change the textures or update some little fine tuning. But what I'm doing here is trying to get the look, right? Because I want it to be at the waist. I want it to have that little cinched look in the back. And then now I have like a whole bunch of front. So I'm going to speed this up so you can see how many times I did it. I think maybe about 7 or 8 times before I realized that I was going about it all the wrong way. But these are some of the things you can try in order to refine it. Really, I did the knot so many times, but I had too much fabric in the front. So I had to try to find a way to maybe make the fabric a little flatter. So I decided to sew the fronts together. I decided that I was going to go ahead and try to maneuver the overlap. But the more fabric that I had in the front, tougher it was for the tie to work out. So I really needed to flatten that fabric. So I said, okay, if I'm going to flatten it, I'm going to make it like it has a, you know, like some sort of placket in the front that it could lay one over the other with a stitch so that I don't have to deal with this so many times. So I crossed my stitches here. I got a nice little twist knot there, which would have been a nice look if I put the tie on top of that, but that wasn't what the look was about. So here I am now, but like, wait a minute, what if I deactivate it, right? Okay, so I tried to deactivate it because I was like, maybe if I deactivate it, the tie will just tie, right, by itself, right? That's smart, right? Deactivate the pattern and the tie will tie by itself. But guess what? If there's no active pattern there, the tie just goes right through. So it's made to simulate on top of layers or whatever your layer structure is. It's made to simulate on top of that. I did make sure to change this to a higher layer so that it won't go through. But as you can see, it's like tying the back because guess what? The front's inactive. So it's also reading that there's only a back to tie. So that's a good key note, right? If there's only a back to tie, you can deactivate your front and get that nice like trench coat tie look in the back. You'll be able to do that and then, you know, continue on your creation journey. So now I'm just going to put it back and then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of flattening to the front. So I'm still obsessed with flattening the front, and once I do, you'll see what happens. So I'm going to pause this video for 1 second and I'll show you what happens when I get it together. Okay, so now that I got it a little bit more together, I just sewed my fronts down and I'm trying the whole simulate the knot again. And this time I have a little bit more success. So I'm just trying to like pull it out from the front where all of the fabric is. And that part's okay, right? So the more you pull on it, you're actually tightening the knot, but you can't untie it. So I think I end up doing this one more time before I'm settled on what the knot looks like. It might be a little bit easy to take out the knot too, pulling on the handle. So just like it ties, you can untie it. It's not like that fake out sewn knot. It's really a tied knot, if that makes sense. So I just Control Z until I'm ready to go ahead and simulate this knot again. Being a little bit more careful with the pulling and where I'm pulling strategically, I just let it kind of hang and do its own thing. Then I said to myself, oh boy, I kind of got it, so I better freeze this baby, right? So I freeze it, but I still don't have the tightness that I want, right? I want to get it like she tied that for a serious reason, right? And I want to get the gathers in the back so that I can see her waistline a little bit more, just like the images that you see in the final render. So then I'm like, well, maybe if I pull these back, I'll get a tighter back, and I do. But now I'm just worried about the front being all droopy and not fully tied. So, you know, there are methods when you have to think of something and you think of a way to do it. I decided that I was going to go ahead and cut and sew. Once I change my collar and fix my clothing here, I'm going to actually cut and sew this belt, and I'm going to make sure that it's cinched the way that I want it to be cinched. So let's speed this up so you can get to that part. Like I said, this is kind of a trial and error thing. So I just go ahead and make sure that I speedily put everything together for you so that you can just see it's just styling, you know, it's just styling, but this is a definitely better way to go ahead and create some really nice stylish knots. So I've frozen the belt, and now I'm just gonna, you know, lay flat everything that I want to lay flat and put it in a place that I want to put it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create some internal lines along where I see it has the opportunity to actually change some of the width of the tie in a strategic place. So I'm not really trying to like shorten it from the end, because the tie is at the end. So if I shorten it from the end, I would actually have to retie the tie. So in my 100 ways to do things in 3D, I pull that out and I go ahead and cut and sew. Make sure that my internal lines are extended, and I go ahead and cut and sew, and I can see where the cut marks are, and I can see which part I want to actually go ahead and make shorter or longer in order to bring the dot up a little, the knot up a little bit, and to make it just cinch a little bit tighter. So not too tight, because it is a soft tie, but I want to make sure that it looks intentional and not like a mistake. So this is me. It's still strengthened. I didn't unstrengthen it because I wanted to actually wanted the knot to stay in place. So if I had it unstrengthened, then the knot would also move with the belt loop. So frozen. So the knot would also move, and then it would also untie itself. So right now I think I just have on like a default fabric, which is still a little drapey, but now I'm gonna just unfreeze it and get it just a little tighter. So I realized that I can really mess this up, and I'm trying to do a tutorial and tutorial and I kind of just let it go. So I just wrap her up a little bit better, and I actually am satisfied with this knot and the way that the outfit looks once the lapels are closed up. Once I get it styled to the right look, and then I go ahead and start my rendering process. And you'll see that at the end of this video. But that's it, and it works. It works really good, and I think with all of the different nuances, I'm just going to merge these back. You'll be able to practice and get some really nice knots out of it. So if it was me, and it probably will be me in just the near future, I would tie several knots in one file and just use those belts as already finished belted knots, because I think once you get the hang of it and once you get the specialty, maybe it's not something that you need to do every time if you can do like your own archive of belts with ties, with knotted ties, or actual dress ties as well, bows, all that kind of stuff. Save yourself some time and actually save a file that has them already tied. That's always a good idea. And that's it. So for the most part, I'm just going to speed through before I get to the render. Once I get to the render, I'll just show you the images as you've seen in the thumbnail. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this short little video about auto knotting feature in Style3D. Talk to you later. Like and subscribe. And comment. Sometimes I answer, Sometimes I have time to read them, and I will answer you eventually. And there's a great community out there also that will help you and answer some of your questions as well. Got lots of followers to help you out. Okay. Bye.